I took on Bill O'Reilly, I don't know, a couple of months ago for his attempts to not be fair and balanced in invalidating Ron Paul's poll results because he didn't like the outcome of the poll. He doesn't like Ron Paul. That's a given. And he's going to basically say, I'm king of the Fox News jungle, and I'm going to pound on my chest, and if I don't like the way something is, I'm going to make it the way I want it to be. So he invalidates the Ron Paul people because how dare they exercise their First Amendment free speech rights and do what he says, which is to respond to the poll, which they did. Ron Paul people went there, voted. Ron Paul won. Bill O'Reilly goes, we know what you're doing. We're throwing out the results. We're disqualifying you for exercising your free speech First Amendment rights. So then I got a call from, let's just say, the Fox family that basically told me, do you realize who you're messing with? Because I was taking on Bill O'Reilly. And I said, yeah, I know who I'm messing with. And they told me that he is to be feared and revered. I go, really? Bill O'Reilly? The guy from Inside Edition? That guy? And they were basically telling me that we're coming after you. We're looking at you. We're doing opposition research, so to speak, on you. And we're going to dig into your past, and we're going to find something. I said, knock yourself out. And then they said to me, well, what are we supposed to tell Roger Ailes? What are we supposed to tell Bill O'Reilly? What are we supposed to tell? I mean, what's your response? I gave him my response. Haven't heard from him since. Because I have dirt on Bill O'Reilly. And they've backed off. Or so it would have seemed. But you see, Bill O'Reilly still has a deep-seated hatred for Ron Paul. And I think that my endorsement of Ron Paul has ratcheted up that hatred to a level I have never seen in journalism in my life. On display last night. And you can say Fox News is fair and balanced. Bill O'Reilly, unbalanced, not fair. In the discussion with Ann Coulter, with regard to him defending Newt Gingrich and the old attacks, Bill O'Reilly said, his job is to be fair. My job is to be fair and not ambush people like they did Newt Gingrich. So after Ann Coulter schools him, goes to break, comes back, resets, and he starts to get into the issue of what happened with Joe Paterno and the crux of the matter with regard to the child sexual abuse that happened at Penn State. This was the setup.
Former Penn State football coach Joe Paterno died yesterday from lung cancer. He was 85 years old and had a sterling reputation up until recently. Last November, Paterno was fired by Penn State because he did not take enough action when he heard about a former assistant coach molesting a 10-year-old boy on university property. You may remember that another coach, Mike McQuarrie, witnessed the molestation in a locker room. McQuarrie says he told Paterno about it, but Paterno did not alert police. Instead, he told university officials. So why did Paterno sit it out? Well, he told the Washington Post, quote, I was shocked, and then I got pretty sad. I didn't know exactly how to handle it, and I was afraid to do something that might jeopardize what the university procedure was, unquote. And that is the crux of the matter. Paterno was afraid.
Bill O'Reilly goes on in the next clip to talk about how children are under siege, and he involves the Catholic Church, and he gives statistics on it.
He didn't want to get involved because he understood the implications for the university. And that's exactly what happened in the Catholic Church. When a number of bishops found out about child molestation by priests, they covered it up because they didn't want to involve themselves and the church. Now, that is disturbing on a number of fronts. In my opinion, children are under siege in America. In 2010, there were allegations of abuse involving an estimated 6 million children. About 500,000 of those allegations were substantiated. 75% of the kids suffered neglect, 15% suffered physical abuse, and close to 10% suffered sexual abuse. That's more than 63,000 American children sexually abused in 2010. There is no question that abusing a child is a heinous crime. There's no excuse for it. And no excuse for any American not to stop the abuse immediately. You either physically stop it, or you call the police on the spot. Joe Paterno looked away.
Nothing to disagree with there, right? But then O'Reilly goes on to talk about why the abuse is happening. And as he's describing why it's happening, he puts a picture up and makes this connection.
Why is this happening in our nation? There are a number of reasons. Traditional codes of conduct have broken down. Right now we have a presidential candidate, Ron Paul, who wants to legalize narcotics. Paul well knows that would put drugs into the hands of children far more than they are today. You want proof? Look at the OxyContin epidemic. That's a legal drug obtained by prescription. It is everywhere right now, and it is as powerful as heroin.
Now, can anybody reconcile that for me? Can anybody justify that leap of logic, illogic? Can anybody explain to me that reach where you would talk about Penn State, Joe Paterno, the Catholic Church, children under siege, the statistics about child abuse, child molestation, 10% of them suffering from sexual abuse, and then make a leap to say that Ron Paul is one of the 3 reasons that this is happening in America? And you're trying to tell me, Fox News, that you guys are fair and balanced? That Bill O'Reilly, the Dan Rather of your network, the anchor extraordinaire, the man who is the face of Fox News, who sells books and concert tickets and doormats and umbrellas, and this is the kind of leap of illogic that you allow this guy to make? Where is the retraction? Where is the apology? Where is the outrage? But no, because just as Bill O'Reilly, who was involved in a sex scandal and had to pay millions of dollars to make it go away, and is covering for Newt Gingrich and his past infidelities, Fox News is covering for Bill O'Reilly because we wouldn't want to upset the financial apple cart, would we?
Jerry Doyle.
Fair and unbalanced. Bill O'Reilly is a sick and twisted individual. And even if you don't like Ron Paul, even if you disagree with his monetary policy, his domestic policy, his foreign policy, even if you believe the lies about him being an anti-Semite or a racist, to link that story and child sex abuse with Congressman Ron Paul, Dr. Congressman Ron Paul, military veteran, combat veteran Ron Paul, is disgraceful, and Bill O'Reilly should be smacked down for it. Stick with me.
Here's my job. My job to be fair.
This is the Jerry Doyle Show.
So the leap of illogic by Bill O'Reilly, including Congressman Ron Paul, in the reasons for child sex abuse. I mean, this goes to the earlier conversation that Ann Coulter was having with him on his program about if we don't talk about issues for what they are in real time and have real discussions about it, then we're never going to get to the heart of who these people are, what they stand for, and what they're really all about. But because Bill O'Reilly has it in for Ron Paul and has it in for me, and they wanted to send me a message, do you know who you're messing with? I said, you guys knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. Go dig. You're not going to find anything. I don't have anything to worry about. Oh, we'll find something. Really? Go ahead. Tell me what it is you're looking for, and I'll tell you if it exists. And if it does, I'll tell you where to find it. It's not there. I don't have to worry about what they come up with. Bill O'Reilly. It's amazing. This guy who's involved in a sex scandal back in 2004, and the dirt that then all of a sudden they were like, whoa, we better back off. But you see, the problem with the ego of Bill O'Reilly is he can't let it go. He was told by the guy who called me that not only is what you heard he said not true. Here's what he said and why he said it. And he said it because he believes it. But here's what he said in response to your being feared and revered. And you don't want to go there. Fox doesn't want to go there because this guy's right. He's got the dirt. He's got the names. He's got the places. And we got way more to lose in this battle than he does. What's he going to do to me? Destroy my radio show? Have people call up and say, take him off the air? Go ahead. Take me off the air. I'm going to be with me when I'm off the air or on the air. I got to live with me. Bill O'Reilly is a fraud. He's a charlatan. His ego is out of control. And if you want to get into an arms race, Bill, I'm willing to do it. But you don't want to do that. And I wouldn't do that just for the sake of doing it. But when you start to make the connections between the guy that I endorsed for president, Congressman Ron Paul, and you start to make the connections between him and child sex abuse in America, well then, as Rick Santorum said after his victory, game on.